Please listen carefully. Welcome to Clubmen 1645, and we're still on the West End campaign, and we're back in Somerset because on August the 18th Thomas Rainsbourgh was at this place behind me, Nunney Castle, and he was besieging the place and he took it fairly easily. Now there's a discrepancy about the date, maybe it was the 20th, maybe it was the 18th of August, but in 1645 obviously Fairfax was back in Somerset and they were concentrating on Bristol. They wanted Bristol. And the clubmen assisted Thomas Rainsbourgh later on at Bristol. But what I want to talk about here is a book I've discovered, and my glamorous assistant here is just going to pass it to me. There you go. And it is called In the Smoke of War, and it's by Walter Raymond. Now this fellow was seen as the Thomas Hardy of Somerset, so I've been told. But what's interesting about this book is it's full of fictional stuff about the clubmen, and it talks about the taking of the siege of Langport and Taunton, and it mentions the clubmen in several passages in it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to read some of it, because I quite like this book and I enjoyed it. It cost me 30 quid, but it was done in 1893, I think. There's a few fictional books with the clubmen, and there's that lady who wrote that whole poem about the clubmen. I can't remember her name now.
No.
But anyway, we're here to talk about this book today, and it's called In the Smoke of Water, Walter Raymond. We're on front of Nunney Castle, as I said, and I'm going to read a passage out of this In the Smoke of War by Walter Raymond. And as I said, this book is set in 1645 with the taking of Langport and the siege of Taunton. And it's about a young girl whose father owns a mill, and she's experiencing the Civil War. And this is the introduction to the clubmen in the book, and it starts off with talking about the troops and the taking of cattle, and it says, like enough they had seized cattle upon one of the farms, and although the villagers gladly hid at their approach, they raised outcry enough when the soldiers were gone. A moment she stood in indecision, and this is the lady who was living at the mill. Then she caught sight of the people, both men and women, running down the opposite hill. They were calling to each other in excitement, like sightseers in a haste to watch a pageant. And across the valley, through the still summer air, came the words quite clearly, "The clubmen, they are coming, the club army." Heart leapt for joy. Her father would be near home, and even now she might manage to speak to him. She ran eagerly to the edge of the slope, and there in the distance down the rough trackway between the hills a body of men was marching. If a term so military may be applied to a progress so irregular in the direction of Langport, after a fashion they were all armed, many with homemade pikes of which the blades slanting over their shoulders glistened in the sun like silver. Some had muskets, heaven knows where they obtained them, but the most could find nothing more formidable than a good stout grodgel or club, a weapon, however, sometimes serviceable in the hands of a Somersetshire man. Recruited by volunteers, all the hamlets and scattered homesteads of the countryside, they wore no uniform nor badge of any kind save a white ribbon. Yep, a white ribbon, such as had adorned the hat of the young Zachary Lavis O'Ham. Now he is the love interest of the lady that works in the mill. And it continues. But their proudest boast and ornament was a standard, a splendid flag of red emblazoned with white letters, with the standard bearer, an upstanding young countryman of the farming sort, carried proudly in front, continually waving to and fro to display this legend: if you offer to plunder our cattle, be assured we will give you battle. The sun blazed upon their heads, the earth beneath their feet was parched and dry. They had marched miles, and some were running to keep up, while others were standing along the rough ground, came reeling over the ruts. But neither dust nor sweat nor fatigue could quench their ardour. Or they came with cries of peace and truth. On they came, 1,000 or more, an army today victorious, and victory had made them arrogant. So that is the introduction to the Clubmen in the book, The Smoke of War, by Walter Raymond. And what I should do, I should read out some passages of this book through the Clubmen series of videos. Keep an eye on the Clubmen site, Clubmen 1645, work in progress.
I got 100 proof boots and a symbol to crack.
Whenever you're ready.
Right, welcome.
Terrible art.
What did I say?